let's send it down there for our final match, our final best of 7 of day 2, Moist Esports and Oxygen facing off with Liquid, looking from the sidelines.
So we spoke about this earlier on, Johnny. The belief seemed to have disappeared when it came to Oxygen. They are the team that's maybe a split behind where Moist found themselves earlier on. Moist were the team trying to recover from Rise leaving them. Now Oxygen, towards the end of their season, looking to pick up the scraps and looking to do it off this player here. Ixo was the player they decided was going to be the guy that could be the replacement. Now they need to get everything up and running again, heading towards Boston and towards Worlds.
Yeah, and it has to be right now. They've got to get involved in this race for the major, which is starting to look like more of a certainty. You know, whereas in North America, OCE, MENA, it's completely up in the air who's going to the major. We're just starting to see more and more teams look like locks in Europe. Vitality locked in. Team Liquid with last event 2nd place. Already have a lot of points on the board. BDS have made 2 top 4s. Karmine Corp 2 top 4s. Not easy to catch up to teams with this many points, especially with the other teams at the top. KC and Vitality looking so dominant. So it has to be now for Oxygen. It has to be now for Ixo, who is really, for me, the highlight. He is the guy who's been brought in to replace Rise. I think so far he's having a good event for himself, but those are some big shoes to fill.
Spare a quick moment as well for Relating Wave, who will be watching this one and wondering, well, why are those two getting to play? He was the one.
I don't think he's watching it.
I wouldn't be. And, well, I don't think Oxygen will want to see this one back either, but he was the one that was along with Cash and Ixo. And, oh, those are the ones that get to play in this position.
Well, that's just a straight up 1v2 play from Cash there. Beats Ixo and then doubles it past Archie to center. And Joyo's there for the easy finish on the goal line. But Cash stealing the show early on here. He has been a highlight machine in his career, but a machine that sometimes false starts. Oh, what a dunk. Oh, wow, Jarius has completely caught Cash out there. And we do have a tight game.
We're talking about maybe a stuttering Cash when it comes to particular plays. That was just a lack of respect entirely for what Jarius was going to do. He tried to go low. And I don't know, set himself up for a 1v1, a solo play afterwards, but no, Jarius having absolutely none of it. Yeah, Jarius is not one of those players. Let's go ahead.
I was just going to say, he's playing the ball as first man. It's something you always have to respect as a defender in Rocket League. The first man has every right to play the ball. You know, I can hear all of you in chat, you know, in your ranked games saying, why would he go for that? Oh my goodness, can you see how stupid this is? Why would he go? But I mean, first man's always going to go, and even at pro level, we see that it can work out. Cash actually turned away from that. He didn't realize it was going to be as free as it was. Now Jory is with an attempt at a mind game. Yeah, I think as the last defender there, you've got to get goal side. You've got to play the ball. You've got to anticipate a touch. Speaking of, oh, what a save Jarius dives down to save what looked like a guaranteed goal.
Jarius had a fantastic start to this series. Not one of those players that came in with so much fanfare. Maybe hasn't necessarily found the results to go along with that fanfare. Had a great start with Dignitas, that fizzled out. Had a great start of Oxygen, that's fizzling out. Needs to reset it as we head towards the latter stages of the season. Needs to get to Boston. You do not want a large gap between the end of your online season and then waiting for what would be a month and a half, 2 months before you head over to Worlds. Not a nice position to be in. Archie can keep the ball moving on. Ash just waits for it. And waits a little bit too long. He's gone yet again. Oxygen are not waiting around. This is zero space given by Oxygen. And if they're going to keep slow playing it on the side of Moist Esports, they're going to keep getting hit.
Yeah, the first demo there landed brilliantly. Unfortunately, there wasn't really time to go for another one as the double tap came in too quickly. And, you know, if you're going to double tap to try and support your teammate who's in front of you bumping the goalkeeper, you want to wait. Wait until the defender's forced to jump into the air, and then you want to go for your double tap too early, and the defender's just going to have an easy save. They're just going to jump way before the bump can land. You know, timing not really working out that time for Oxygen. They're not a team who are really known for their physicality off the ball, at least you know, it's hard to really put anyone else in the same conversation with what Com's doing in North America. Oh my goodness, the post being tested here. I mean, these are positions that shouldn't really be goals. Tight angles like this. The post did actually come to the rescue because Joyous didn't get goal side of the ball.
So did they just pull off what I did against them, which was Joris doesn't have this? I didn't know that could be applied to a pro strategy, but hey, at least I can hold that against you guys next time, if there ever is a next time. Joyo now off the backboard. He's going to be there to follow.
I'm not going to let you have that. I think that's just pure shopium there, trying to
I think that one worked well in your mind. I'm not too sure about it as soon as we heard it.
That pure shopium, straight from the source. He's trying to say that it was fine not to anticipate a double tap from Joris. I'm not having it.
Joris doesn't have those. Well, Joyo might, actually. Off that from the reset challenge. It's off the post. There's Cash to finish off. Instead, Ixo keeps it out. Well, that was both incredible offense and impeccable defense. We stay 1-1.
There's been some great saves in this tournament, but a lot of them coming from this game. Joyo looking dangerous in the Mustang as he did for a lot of last season. Turning aggressively here. Juicy snipes him upfield. Reset for Joyo. It gets away from him, though. And this is aggressive by Moist. They're hunting for a regulation goal.
Oh, and Ixo can run onto it. Backboard, goes straight for there instead. Direct play. No time for Moist to respond. 1-0 in the series for Oxygen.
Oh, Moist thought they were the team who were pushing for the late goal. But it was actually Oxygen's the whole time. Archie just booms it. And Ixo's waiting downfield. I mean, both teams actually had players lingering upfield at the end of the game, looking for redirect opportunities. Oxygen actually get theirs into the net, though. And that shouldn't actually come as a surprise to Moist, however. You've always got to look out for the booming clear, especially when it's Archie on the backboard. He loves to absolutely just send that full length of the pitch. Moist let their guard down. They thought they, had got a position that was either goal for them or overtime. You've always got to be ready for the power clear at this level.
Wow, I mean, what a way this would be for Oxygen to respond, because the storyline has been you did the work earlier on and you're benefiting of it for the rest of the season. But no, I mean, they want this. They still believe in themselves. And what an opportunity they have. If they get a result like this against the Moist Esports, who did look incredibly good yesterday, that puts them back on the map. And we'll have to see then at the Invitational, what else we can see from them. But for now, 1-0 to the good. And incredible play from Archie and Ixo to take that first win.
And you've always got to worry about Moist getting nervous. We saw it against Team Liquid last event.
I can't believe it.
It's never safe with this team. I mean, they've got a squad together that are going to struggle to really believe in themselves until they get that event win.
Do you feel like this is the antithesis of the Moist that we had last season when it comes to this? Because probably the strongest, if not the second strongest mental that we saw from them outside of maybe Furia, when it came to winning the Champions Field matches, the overtime records that they had. And then you look at this roster and it's the Glass Cannon squad. Yeah,
I mean, Rise kind of took that with him. For a while, it was just the Rise, 0 second show. And then, of course, Vatira, probably the most confident player in the world, definitely one of them. He's no longer on the team. So when you take Vatira and Rise out of Oxygen, it's really hard to replace not just their on-the-pitch play, but just their bulletproof mentality, their winner's mentality. And, Juicy doesn't have an event win yet to really give him that confidence. Cash hasn't got an event win to give him that confidence. He's actually had a track record of disappointing results. Oh, that's a great shot, though. How has he found the angle from this position?
Great challenge to start with, and he just reads it immediately. And that's so difficult to do as well, because when you've got the bull cam on, you really can barely see your car anymore at that kind of angle. You just have to know.
I mean, the fact that he's hit that with power over Archie is absolutely astonishing. Cash opens his scoring for Moist. It was Cash who created the first goal in the last game as well. So he has been the star striker, the goal creator for this team. I think Oxygen look lively for me. I'm liking what I'm seeing from them. They are a massively improved team from last event. Oh, what a play though by Joyo and Cash. I mean, I can't compliment Oxygen for more than half a second, it seems. There's out of nowhere, Cash and Joyo put together a 1-2 passing play. The vision from Cash to just fight Joyo over his shoulder there is phenomenal.
I really enjoy whenever we see those kind of plays, just looking at it from the POV of the third man, the goalkeeper, and just figuring out, all right, how little of a chance did you really have here? And yes, there was no chance. You have to respect where that ball can possibly go. You have to respect the passing angle. It's just wrong. No matter what decision you make, it is wrong. So 2-0, and Moist bouncing back in a big way here. Doing it in dominant fashion. Is that going to be number 3? Oh, it should have been.
Well, that is crazy that the ball's not going into the net. It looked guaranteed that it was going to pinch in. Somehow it stays out. Well played from Oxygen to actually get a piece of it. They need to really start fighting more for this midfield, I feel. You know, Moist haven't slowed down the aggression. It looks like, you know, conceding that 0-second goal has not taken any wind out of their sails. Still playing with confidence for now. Oxygen have to give them something to worry about.
That's almost it there. Ixo kicks out of the way of Archie. I've never seen someone try and play leapfrog from that position, but it has worked out. Get the ball to Jorius. Cut that lead in half.
Yeah, I love that from Ixo, just making sure that he's not going to bump his teammate. Joyo, a bit uncomfortable in the back wall there. He had plenty boost. He was, you know, kind of guarding a high ball, and it went under him. And that's the danger of sitting on the backboard, is you don't have an easy adjustment if the ball does go downwards. Oh, look at this. It's going to be a tight game. I mean, where are these goals coming from? Moist have completely fallen apart here.
Have a look. Just goalkeeper in, too far forward. I don't think that was even savable if it was top corner, just not with that positioning. It's just, yeah, it's disappeared.
Yeah, again, you know, Joyo a little bit awkwardly positioned there. First goal goes underneath him. And you know, it's hard to jump down off a backboard. This one goes over his head. I think both those goals, he could have been positioned a little bit further back and had a chance of getting a 50-50, a chance of getting a save. That's, you know, pretty easy for Oxygen. We're starting to wonder, okay, where are the goals going to come from? Because it's mostly Moist who are aggressing in this matchup so far. And Oxygen have had moments, but they definitely want to be creating more chances, and then suddenly out of nowhere they just get 2 goals. So Moist not really making it difficult for Oxygen defensively.
Somebody out there in the world, Johnny, that just left the room to go and get a little bit of water, you know, some tap water, something, doesn't take too long, has come back and has wondered what on earth has just happened. I do feel like Oxygen will be thinking much the same. Where has this gone? Also thinking much the same as Archie does wait. Ixo comes back in. Oh, Jorius.
Oh.
I tell you what, Jorius looks very dangerous in this lobby.
That was such a good attempt on that reset corner double tap. Hits the bar from Jorius. That would have been a goal of the day contender. Now Archie with a much easier double off the backboard. He puts it wide.
Not far off. And it's been from the corner that they've been trying to create those opportunities. Archie's going to be late back. Does still get there in time. Passes it off to Jorius. Juicy needs some support. He's got Joyo over there. Finds the pass. Wins the challenge. Joyo versus Archie. Who comes out on top? Archie for now. We stay tied at 2 goals each.
And that was a flip reset bump attempt from Joyo. Archie waited until Joyo flew over him and then played the ball. Really good defensive timing from someone not really known for his solo ability. That 1v1 play coming in clutch for Archie in defense. Now can he go the other way? Not yet. Joyo stuffs him. Now Jorius a free touch. Juicy redirects it at his own backboard with enough pace that it's cleared itself.
That was a little bit too close, if anything, but we go into overtime. Big one as well. Oxygen can double their lead or see it disappear entirely, depending on the result of this next goal. Ixo's loitering around. He's loved being in that position. Moist, if they do lose this, they will wonder how. Nice fake from Juicy. Jorius up next. Archie again the last person back, and again does incredibly well with it. Now what can he do on the transition? That sets up very nicely for Ixo. And it looks like it's Oxygen's turn. Not quite.
This is suddenly a real fight for the midfield as Oxygen start to contest the ball earlier. Clash, one extra touch, not enough to get it past Archie, who's been stellar in defense in game 2. Not shy moving forward as well. Great demo on the rotation back. Juicy winning possession back for his team, but not for long. Cash still tussling for it. It's so back and forth right now. No clear advantage. I mean, we had a 0-second goal to separate the two teams in game 1. Now overtime game 2. It's still on a knife edge, especially compared to some of the other matches we've seen today.
This really might come down to who can get the better shadow, who can be the first player to follow up from a 50. Just break through. Juicy passes it out. Oh, that's a teammate gone. Jorius looks to try and break away. Now he looks for the player. Not gonna quite work. Infield to Juicy. Oh, he faked him out. Just couldn't reposition that car afterwards. This really could go either way. But for now, Oxygen would like to see a little bit more possession of the ball.
Yeah, that was terrifying for both teams. Juicy accidentally outplaying his teammate. If he'd faked that aerial, Oxygen would have been in real trouble. Thankfully for Oxygen's sake, Moist were not on the same page. I'm really surprised Juicy didn't fake it though, because he's been mind-gaming quite a lot in this lobby. Oxygen once again shut the door at the near post. Nice little chip pass attempt by Archie. Jari is beaten, but Ixo's right there behind him. Jari is still on the boost here. Danger for Moist. They do get a nice lateral pass in defense. Oxygen were waiting in the middle. If that one went central, Moist knew better than to give him an easy clear.
Incredible anticipation as well from Ixo. He sets his team up to now break away. Haven't seen a long-form offense from Oxygen in this overtime just yet. Oh, lovely from Cash. He has shut down though. Ixo moved back in. Now Joyo, first touch let him down, did recover it from the challenge. Everything is challenged here. No solo plays allowed. Instead, it is all about the pace. And who makes that first slight mistake? Jorius doesn't get enough on it, but that actually might cause some chaos. You don't always need the perfect play, you just need everyone to believe that you can. Juicy, looking for the challenge, gets it, and is demoed for his troubles.
Yeah, Juicy trying to be the 8th French player to make top 4 in this event. 7 have already made it out of 9. He would make it 8 out of 12. And he's going to do it with a winning goal in overtime. Juicy goes huge on Forbidden Temple.
One mistake, one whiff on the way up, and Juicy gets the space he needed. One each now in the series. And a series, Johnny, that is shaping up to be quite the meaty one indeed. I have thoroughly enjoyed our opening 2 games. And it looks like we got more and more of it to come because, well, these teams seem to know what's on the line here. And it is nice to see both of them stepping into their own.
Yeah, I reckon that it looks like it's slightly Moist favored. They're the team who have, I think, conceded the silly goals. There's a couple of, well, not silly goals in this game going against them, but goals they could have definitely done more to prevent. They gave away a couple of easy goals here. And really, I think, scored some brilliant goals at the other end. Even game 1, the first goal that they conceded, Moist that is, very careless goal. So I think we're at 3, very careless goals. You can even chalk the 0-second goal up to being a careless Moist play, overextending with no time left on the clock. So that's, I think, the key for me. If Moist can just play a little bit more carefully in defense, they do look like the better team.
The only problem for me on that is, as I'm sure most Moist fans will attest to, is that's kind of just been the MO for almost every goal that this Moist squad seems to concede. It's not just in this sort of series, it has been everywhere. As that was such a close attempt, but Juicy is going to add to the one that he scored in the previous overtime. And Moist starting to rock and roll.
Yeah, Archie being chased into his own net there, trying to in and out save Juicy's shot. But just like we saw in the earlier series today, low shots, very difficult to save when you're lunging off your own crossbar, the underside of your own crossbar. Juicy actually breaking rotation to get to that ball as well. Love to see his involvement. The fact that it very much is a 3-man offense for Moist. which is great to see. They're not trying to shove their least experienced player into third man. They're just playing every role evenly. Juicy, I think, underrated when he joined this team in the first place because it was Rise that he was replacing, and how are you supposed to replace Rise? But now he's really starting to show why this team picked him up, as he gains more and more confidence with every passing event.
I still claim that Juicy coming into that was maybe the most impossible task since Yukio tried to replace K-Dop. Like,
yeah.
it was never going to work in terms of just being the same. But now Juicy getting to shine on his own light. Oh, and that's gone underneath a few players. Jorius jumping for it yet again. Ixo does win the ball. That's loose for everybody to work with, especially Ixo. Needed the support to follow up, though. And I think that will be the big test here is we do get Oxygen on the defense. They were very quick on the follow-up for a lot of the goals that they've scored on Oxygen's side. Can they keep that going? Can they continue to read those outplays as well as they have done?
Once again there, Juicy and Joyo not really reading each other. We saw the similar thing happening in the last game where I think Joyo would have been calling Juicy to fake an aerial, which he then did not fake. Now they're in a lot of trouble defensively, but Joyo closes the gap. Good speed to block Archie's shooting angle. Yeah, a couple of, dangerous positions there. You've got to be careful with these double commits in aggressive positions like this where recoveries are not so natural. You better be doing that with the ball behind you. Oh, Cash actually has a flip here, and he's used it to slot the ball bottom left. Unbelievable by Cash. The cannon is firing.
Because he can. And that's all the reason you need to give Cash to score a goal like that one. He's up and rolling. Oxygen are now starting to see what Moist are capable of. And they need to get themselves back into a fighting mode right now because they've got Juicy up and rolling, they've got Cash up and rolling, and we know Joyo can get up and rolling at a moment's notice.
And that was just phenomenal. Cash, it reminded me of Garrett G's Season 5 ceiling recovery goal. This is just, a different level of it with the immediate recovery there onto the ceiling after being bumped, and then using the flip to place the shot. I mean, both were obviously amazing goals for different reasons, but always great to see bumps being used for the advantage of the player being bumped. Really showing that you can turn that aggression against the opponent. They're technically giving you a boost of momentum if you're able to react fast enough like Cash did there.
I don't care anything else that was said during that series. Oh my, Garrett is still my favorite call in Rocket League history. That is personal for me.
He's being humble right now, Shogun.
Nah, absolutely not. Legendary Final Carpet himself. Now we get the legendary Joyo Kami moving into the corner. Does get beat to the ball. Juicy reset. Almost managed to find Joyo.
It's open.
And instead it's on the counterattack. Surely you don't miss those. Well, I've said previously that I don't think Jorius has that. Jorius has that.
I swear if that's me, it rolls straight up the back wall into an unscorable position. Complete luck if you ask me. Jorius got a second chance at it.
Those are the ones that always just roll up the ceiling every single time. Oh, no way! Cash!
Whoa!
Hello!
Oh, well, you have to respect that shot. Ixo carelessly turning towards the ball. It's a great shot by Cash. He's slotted it from the halfway line with almost no boost to play with. But I don't know why Ixo's moving upfield there. There's always the threat of a shot when a player wins the kickoff, rolls with the ball like that. Ixo will know that. He's just completely let his guard down in that moment, and they've lost another goal to go down by 2. That's, I think, probably the worst goal that they've conceded all day, Oxygen, who have been pretty solid in defense.
Now Cash off the ceiling. I think Cash is confident at the moment, and that is a very dangerous thing indeed. Off the slide shot. In goes Joyo. Does win the challenge. Doesn't get a favorable bounce off the post. Well, if Oxygen are going to resubmit themselves as challengers towards Majors and towards Worlds, they're going to have to do it in a big way. Moist are not rolling over in this series at all. Joyo now off the low challenge. swarming them. 30 seconds left. Oxygen, you wouldn't know it, are the team that needs 2.
Yeah, you know, the real problem for Oxygen is they relied on a lot of defensive mistakes from Moist to get the majority of their goals. Now those mistakes are not happening and it's just one-way traffic. Moist are completely steamrolling them. They have looked the more aggressive team from start to finish, and now they're starting to do it without mistakes in between.
4-1. A decimation on DFH Stadium. Jorius trying to find something, anything for his squad. It's not happening. Joyo shuts it down. This is the sort of one where you question if the timeout might be required, because Moist, if anything, have to be iced. They were that good in this game. Moist 2-1 and in incredible fashion, and they've done exactly what we said. Timeout called before we even managed to get to the scoreboard.
Yeah, they're not going to make the same mistake Guild did earlier. They're going to make sure to call that timeout immediately, and this is obviously a good decision. Moist 2 games in a row. Oxygen a bit flat outside of the solo plays. They look like they're lacking coordination in offense. You know, I'm liking what I'm seeing from them with their little 1v2 outplays that are popping up every now and then. We're seeing one, you know, maybe a play from Jorius here and there. You know, Archie, something you'll be able to win a 50 and then get back to the ball, but not really a lot to write home about Oxygen. They need to start synergizing in offense if they're going to match this Moist team, who are just levels above right now with their confidence, levels above with their aggression. And, you know, unless, I don't want to say it, but yeah, unless Moist have another complete collapsed class, I think it's their series. It looks like we're going to have a clear top 5 in EU with Liquid on 29 points. Just so I could put it in perspective to you guys, how clear the top 5 would be in EU if Moist do in fact win this. Liquid are on 29 points. They're eliminated from this tournament. If Moist win, then the closest team to Team Liquid would be PSG Tundra on 18 points. 11 back. That is a long, long way back with only one event to play. Moist can actually put themselves all the way up to 24 if they win this. That would be a 6-point gap to their nearest rival, PSG Tundra. Again, a massive jump. I mean, you look across the pond at NA, 5th and 6th are tied. Furia are just 4 points behind, and then you get G2 1 point behind them. You've got maybe 5 or 6 teams who are all closer together than Moist are going to be to their nearest rival in 6th place.
And that would be a real pick your poison as well for PSG Tundra, because you'd look at the 2 teams that would be playing against each other in the next round of the lower bracket, and it would either be, all right, the team that gets you further away from making it to the major, or the team that might take that 6th spot from you when it comes to the World Championships and automatic qualifications. So that'd be a horrible spot.
It's really, really, it's almost an impossible task, you've got to think, because if PSG Tundra have to make up 6 points to Moist, let's say Moist bomb out in 9th the next event, PSG Tundra would have to get top 4. They'd have to get top 4 in the next event.
2 wins?
They'd have to win 3 times upper bracket, or, you know, make a lower bracket run to top 4. That is so difficult to do with Vitality, Karmine Corp, BDS, Moist, and of course Liquid, all looking as strong as they are. How you cannot guarantee a top 4 run right now in Europe. So yeah, Moist are not just in control of this series, they're in control of major contention, and not just theirs, but the whole top 5.
So, for Oxygen, none of those sound very nice to them either. Team had so much belief behind them. I remember just the groundswell of support when they stepped out in Rotterdam. We're not able to get the job done over there. Would like to get the job done here. Joyo over the top. See what Moist can bring to the table. We've had a little bit of time on the sidelines now. I'm Oxygen, though, I just take anything less than what just came at you in the previous match. As Jorius does step in, this is the player that I feel has been at the level that can maybe match Moist. I think he needs a little bit more around him. Archie's had glimpses. He's been really good in defense. Ixo was the overtime goal scorer. But you need more than that. And Jorius, I feel, has been the only one that's really been able to provide, as I almost got cast and cursed.
definitely has. I mean, he's looked like the most dangerous player for Oxygen. Hold on, Ixo actually making something happen here. Jorius
anti-caster curse, we take those!
And Jorius does get an opening goal. And that was actually Ixo surprising Juicy with a massive dunk in the midfield to set that one up.
It's all about keeping this going. Oxygen trying to take that timeout buff. More relevant in Europe than it feels like in any other region. Oh my goodness, Juicy. That's such a nice way of trying to get your team out of this position that they found themselves in. You start looking towards those boost totals as well. There's Oxygen trying to take advantage. Pre-flip! What a goal!
What a shot by Ixo. The timing was absolutely perfect, not just to make contact with the ball, but to chip it up into the roof of the net. Unfortunately for Cash, he tripped on the goalpost, so it would have been tough to save pretty much anything there. Still well done by Ixo. Even had Cash stayed grounded there, that wouldn't have been a completely automatic save. Brilliant shot. Very difficult to read those pre-flip shots as well. Oxygen are showing us something they haven't really shown for the whole series, and that is some kind of synergy in offense. They're following up quickly on each other's plays.
Off the corner, Jorius get the follow on it. Oh, and now Joe's gone chasing. Juicy does get bumped, however. That means he can't follow up the play. Not the best touch there from Cash. So if anything, just from that one touch, you already know that the timeout did its job. And for everybody as well. Moist still have access to theirs. It'll be very interesting to see when they use it as well. It becomes a little bit more personal preference when you get into a series like this one. It has been back and forth, and Cash so close, but he would like to see it again.
Yeah, this is looking good so far for Oxygen. Oh, what a touch that is by Juicy. I mean, giving credit to Ixo for his pre-flip goal earlier. That was a brilliant pre-flip from Juicy as well. Oxygen had everybody back. Now, actually, somehow team pitched this sideways. No one on Moist really ready to capitalize. Moist limited for chances. Far more than in every other game this series. Only able to put 2 shots on target so far. And they were both pretty easily dealt with by Oxygen as well. Joy with multiple resets. Cash with the follow-up. Oh, it bounces downwards. He had the double of it. Was a flat bounce. Suddenly, it's actually Oxygen in trouble. Oh, it's Archie who recovers to save the slow shot. I think that was probably open, though, for Joyo, at least part of the goal.
That's about as good as he could possibly have hoped for. Asked for Juicy to come and take over, realized that he had more boost. Now Cash. You can get Cash into a position. This is the sort of one you want him in. Not far off. But that's been the tagline of Moist's entire game to this point. Not far off. Still, we stay at 2-0. And Oxygen escape the pressure. Moist have to reset and go again.
Moist trying to find an opening. They've had some great chances there. Mind game doing absolutely nothing. Ixo saw it a mile away now. Passing off to Jorius, who's waiting in the back post. This is great midfield coverage by Oxygen. Hard to see a gap through this. Moist still almost find one. Oxygen matching their touches right now. No clear winners of these engagements. Until Jorius marches the ball downfield, wastes a whole lot more time that Moist need desperately.
So, doesn't get second contact, doesn't need it. He just looks towards the timer. And every second that ticks away is a minor victory for Oxygen. Moist need the ball now. They need to score off this push. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. The trip up is the last little bit that Oxygen needed. Timeout was taken, and they've got the win that they needed out of this game. 2 each on the series. Series well up in the air as to who can win it.
Yeah, fantastic game by Oxygen. Easily the best game for them. I mean, even compared to their game 1 win, this was a different feel where they weren't conceding the midfield. They're fighting for it, and they're very quick to pounce on the chances they got. We had Jorius up to capitalize on an Ixo dunk, and then we had Ixo pre-flipping to score the second goal. No panic yet for Moist. I feel like they're going to be still pretty confident, and probably just chalk that loss up to timeout buff. Well, no more timeout buff. That's obviously been used. I'm very excited to see if Oxygen can keep this up. I think we could easily go the distance if they do keep this up. The problem for Moist that did surface at the end of this game is he has some pretty horrendous shooting. Joyo, way off with what was essentially an open net. He could have aimed at, I think it was like 40, 50 seconds left there. Could have aimed that in the roof of the net and easily scored, but did not get a good contact on the ball at all. So they're going to need to be more clinical with their chances. They look a lot more accurate with their shooting earlier on in the series. It's really only something that surfaced at the very end of Game 4 there for Moist.
I do like what Oxygen were doing, though, in the midfield, because they were doing something that I like to refer to as just a mechanics check on Moist, of just, I'm going to half challenge you here. You have to believe I'm going for you. You have to now make your move. You have to play that ball in sort of a way that you would prefer to do later on. And Oxygen were not only doing that, but they were doing it in a way that was so easy for them to recover afterwards. So not only are they making the life easier for the third man, the next man up in defense, but they can also just get back, be perfectly safe on anything else that Moist can throw their way. And that was just such a significant improvement for me. And as well from the fact of, yes, Moist were a step or two below the high standards they set themselves in game number 3.
Yeah, and it's also worth mentioning, this is not a timeout by Moist. This is, in fact, a quick technical issue. We're just getting a server restart here. So maybe a bit of a timely, error there in Moist's favor. I feel like this is, something that will probably, if anything, be favorable for them. But I don't think Oxygen will mind this too much, because the more chance they have to talk about this.
If I know Snasky, he's always got something to say, all right? He's good to just get those all off his chest.
Yeah, no, it is good for Moist that they're getting a chat about this as well, getting to talk through, what they can do differently in this next game, because I think if I was to guess what they're talking about, it's all going to be about confidence for them. It's all going to be about let's just actually hit our shots when we get the opportunities, because earlier on in this series we were creating plenty of opportunities. So let's just make the most of them when they come along. Don't hesitate. Do not, think twice. Just slot the ball top bins. Gotta give props not only to Snasky, of course, for always having great word per minute during these breaks, during this accidental timeout here, technical difficulty that we're...
I mean, it looks like he's done now. It looks like he's got... Oh, no, he's back again. He's back.
I was also getting a compliment on just how organized and clean this background is. Very, very clean, very... Always on point. If you've been watching Snasky's, little appearances on stream here and there during timeouts, you'll notice, look at the cleanliness. Compared to Moist, what a state. What are they doing? Somebody... take that bin out. What is it? It's half open. It's being held open by some rubbish. There's more rubbish on the desk. Moist, you've got to sort yourselves out. Snasky is completely clearing them with the room cleanliness.
I not to break the fourth wall over here for everybody, but I'm going to peer behind the curtain for you all. I'm very curious what it would be like if we went back to the desk and we just told, all right, just bring the green screen down. Let's see what's going on. How clean is everything behind you?
Oh, if Snasky's actually just using a green screen of a clean room and he's sitting in a bomb site, like a total just disaster of a room, then he's fooled me.
That's genius. Well done. Just clean the room once, get a screenshot of it, and then leave it behind you all the time.
You've just saved so many people a ton of time. Everybody watching right now is like, why didn't I think of that? I'm just going to keep a photograph of my room clean and then use a green screen. Never have to clean your room again. Don't actually try this at home. You're going to get in trouble. Your mum is going to ground you. Do clean your room.
It does sound significantly more difficult to spend a significant amount of money on a green screen compared to just taking the bins out.
More time to play free play, more time to learn how to double reset. Can't be a bad thing. Looks like we are about to get into the next game. Technical difficulties are subsiding. This is going to be game 5 of a potential 7. Oxygen's Snasky looking pretty calm. I feel like Juicy a little bit more tentative. I'm getting some very serious vibes from the Moist camp. This is a key game for them. They did not call timeout. They still have theirs. Oxygen have used theirs already. We're going to get started with Game 5 and find out, is it going to be the Moist who came out all guns blazing at the start of the series, or is it going to be the one that looked a bit nervous in front of net in Game 4?
Moist as well. They're playing well when it comes to their split and making sure that they can go to Boston, but this will be another result if they do lose this. That is in the 5th to 6th kind of range. You're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to do well at the start of the next tournament. So for Jorius, taking that shot. What have they got? I feel like it's a bit of a reset now entirely for every single player on his form. Like, that's a decent amount of time you've been out of the field.
It is worth mentioning that, yeah, Moist, if they lose here, that'll be 2 5th, 6th place finishes in a row, which is exactly the same as Furia in North America, but the difference is that for Moist, all the teams ahead of them, or most of the teams ahead of them, are the same. So they would remain in the top 5, whereas Furia are actually in 7th place in points in NA, because the teams who are winning and going deep in the event have been different in Regional 1 and 2. So this is still good news for Moist that they're top 6. That's a great result overall. They're probably going to be in the top 5 going into the last event. It just depends on by how much. Oxygen can close the gap to just 3 points with a win here. Otherwise, Oxygen would be 7 points back, which is a much, much bigger task to make up in the last event.
It's one of those things, especially in a region like this one, where we always have what I describe as that result in the 3rd regional every single time, and Moist would leave themselves vulnerable to potentially that happening. Archie goes low, doesn't quite scoop up the ball. Good look there from Oxygen. Whoever does win this, double match point on the board for them. Juicy tries to just take it by himself, gets the bump on the player. Joyo looks for top ins. Instead, he finds nothing but crossbar.
Yeah, just not an immediate shot there from Joyo. It looks like he was waiting to see what materialized in front of him. Maybe, again, accuracy.
No way! Oh my goodness.
Save.
You know what? No, I'm upset him for saving that. It was a great save. I'm still upset. That was such a good shot.
Well, you know what's brilliant about that, though, from Jorius is the save was actually quite easy because he positioned himself so well. You know, you should all be taking notes. Where was Jorius there? He was in his goal. He was not in front of the goal. He was not on the goal line. He was in the goal. It's so much easier to save a ball that's coming down at you from overhead when you're actually in the goal. So very, very good positioning there by Jorius. We've even seen an own goal yesterday from, I think it was what's the new Monkeys roster? they've got a new org, and I've totally forgotten what their name is. But yeah, they own goal
it was
the exact
Luna
same
something.
thing.
I'm
Luna
up to the Luna
Galaxy.
part.
We got there.
There we go.
Galaxy.
Between us.
Yes. They own goal because they were outside the goal, just barely outside the goal line. What a difference it can make when you're just inside the goal line there. Makes defense so much easier.
Great points. Really, I agree with all of them. Cringe save. Cringe save. I'm still not happy with it.
Good position, good save.
Cringe save.
You're gonna have to disagree on this one.
It's not going in the top place. I refuse. Anyway, into the final 2 minutes. Still got 2 each on the board. 0-0 on the scoreboard. Should be 1-0, but hey, I'm not holding a grudge. Archie. Oh, that's dangerous for him, and it has been set up now for the follow-up, but where is the follow-up? Moist miscommunicated. Who's still going for the bump? Who's taking the shot? And that looks like the opportunity's gone away from them.
Well, Moist, some nervous touches. Cash there with really nowhere near full power on an attempted shot on target. You know, I think all the Moist fans watching right now, they're just thinking, please, but is it too much to ask for Cash to be essentially locked for the major before Regional 3? Something we've never, ever seen before. He's always one of the teams. He's always on a team that are just barely in or barely out. And that's where Moist are headed to if Oxygen win this. But they've had their chances. Moist just need to take them.
Yeah, it always seems to be the same suspects over here. G1. PSG Tundra, well, whatever name that they've gone under for those sort of ones. You had your quadrants.
Yeah, and, Kenny Team Cash on.
Yes. Joby was bringing it up earlier on. This is something that's sort of stuck with him ever since the Misfits days of last season.
Yeah.
Time to break that. Time to start being a major challenger, not just a major contender. Now, still at the 0-0 deadlock. Team's just settling back in after the technical issues. Who sells first? Jorius, power clear. The back's turned now of everyone on Moist, and that's another power clear. Or is anyone back for it?
What?
Oh, always for a game like that to end. That would have been the most typical.
There is no way that that's gone off the bar twice. Juicy tried to get there, but he didn't want to jump over the ball, and he accidentally crossbarred the open net.
Have you been, like, giving him lessons?
I don't want to give
that's got to be it. That is.
Oh, there we go. What an assist by Juicy. He wanted to do it in overtime. He didn't want an open net. He wanted a real goal. And that is going to put Moist on double match point. Timeout still available. They are delivering the promised result. The return of Moist Esports to the upper echelon of EU.
Now, most esports understand that we've got to make a replay package out of this afterwards, so we need the better goals. And the open net, I don't know, would have been interesting to have on there. Instead, we do get a better one over in overtime. And yes, I do like the point that you've made there, Johnny, about Moist trying to rejoin the upper echelons. Because right now, I would say KC Vitality are in their own little gap. And you don't want the gap to those two to be too big. Right now, I'd say, definitely your BDSs, your Moist Esports. There's another team in there. I've completely forgot the name of it. There we go. Thank you very much.
You should be on a First Touch podcast with that kind of memory.
I feel like I'm just still holding a grudge from the reverse sweep 2 weeks ago. At least I have my reasons.
Why are Liquid so constantly forgotten? I feel like they don't deserve this. I feel like they deserve some recognition there.
I feel like it's because I feel like if I leave them, Cold and Stumpy will correct me. But oh no, I don't necessarily have that safety net this time around.
But can they do it in 6? Moist are going to be very clear of 6th place and still in the tournament with more points on the table. And if they can just win one more game, they'll essentially lock the EU top 5. Even if Moist bombed out 9th place in the next event, Oxygen would need to get 4th place or better. 4th place would actually be a tiebreaker with Moist, just to show you how brilliant a position Moist would be in. They could only win one match in the next event and still be fine outside of an Oxygen top 4 or a PSG Tundra top 4 or a Guild Esports top 4. And none of those results look likely with the dominance of, like you mentioned, KC, Vitality, BDS, so consistent at the moment as well. And I
do appreciate you saying Liquid over on that one.
I think Liquid
claim that was solidarity.
I think Liquid top 4 next event after a bit of a struggle this one. Probably likely. Oh, Jory's got a double here. No, he's actually just going to make one touch and then rotate out. What have Oxygen got left? I think have looked like the defensive team for most of this series. And not a fan of that from them. I want to see these players showing off their mechanics in offense, not just giving Moist to run a show.
Look close to breaking through. Moist are really just on that knife's edge, walking the tightrope when it comes to their midfield positioning, but it's working out. They're winning those challenges, and it's setting them up for success like this one.
Just a fantastic recovery by Juicy. Jorius was not prepared for the speed of that shot. And Moist about to make a top 4 if they can just hold on a bit longer. 3 minutes. I mean, it's a long time for 3v3, but Moist are doing it right now. They look the part. They don't look like a team who are getting a lucky run into top 4. They look like the real deal. They're sending Liquid to the lower bracket yesterday and now eliminating one of their main competition in Oxygen. What have Oxygen got left? Joyo, in and out save, into the near
still
dribble.
Going.
Almost goes all the way.
Yep, Joyo looks very confident on the field at the moment, and so does this player on the ball right now, Juicy. Look, I understand top 2 over in Rotterdam was an incredible performance, but with the way that the team was playing, it did feel at times like he was along for the ride. Juicy on this roster looks unlocked.
He really does. I think, if that first split with Moist was Juicy's split to just learn and his split to improve, and now he really is showing that he is at this level as a player. And he looks like he's going to be at this level to stay. dangerous, very, very scary looking top 5. Dare I say, right now for Europe, the strongest top 5 we've ever seen from this region on paper, and the strongest top 5 in form as well. It's not done yet. It's never done until the ref blows the whistle. Archie's got an open net here and he puts it in. Just when Moist started to look comfortable. Another goal comes off an infield pass. It's a double commit from Moist. And no one in the net to save the shot.
Well, you couldn't have timed that one much better, could you? Oxygen back into this game, back into this series. It just took one moment of brilliance for them. Juicy reset off the backboard. He's got a second one. Where's the follow? Like even Moist Esports weren't expecting to get that far. Cash decides to take it. Did have Juicy available. Step pass over to the side. Oxygen once again. Joris harassing in the backfield. Oxygen, when they do get offense, are happy to just loiter around that little bit longer. Steal the boost, get the bump on the goalkeeper. It's just getting the follow-up that's been the difficult part. The second man has always been faster on Moist Esports. Difficult to get sustained pressure going when you are consistently losing that battle.
They're just not really threatening enough here, Oxygen. Moist continuing to barrel forward.
Oh, Joyo made a mistake.
Hold the line. Yeah, Joyo in a bit of an awkward position there. Recovers well. Tash back to help him. And just look at the difference. How much more scary it looks when Juicy, Cash, Joyo have a full pitch air dribble compared to Oxygen right now, who just don't look like they're able to put it on target enough. That being said, we have a tie game, and we're only separated by one game in the series. Now, I want to see Moist prove that they can do this, but I don't believe it till I see it, and it's not over yet.
And it would be, as we've described, the glass cannon on Champions Field.
It would.
Start to get worried at that point, but it's up to Oxygen to get us there first. Until then, Moist would be the favorites. And are the favorites to get the next goal. Well, that really matters for much. Juicy moves on in, takes it down the side. Can't get second contact. Joyo beat to the ball. Archie, is it going to be Oxygen getting the final chance here? Off the side, Joyo doesn't make contact with the ball. Cash on the cut rotation. Oh, Moist going to get one final shot at this. Cash looks to take control of the ball, and it is going to drop down. Overtime required.
Oh, nervous overtime, I'm sure, for both teams. Oxygen's split on the line. Moist just one goal away from another brilliant result for their first split as a trio. The first team with pressure in that overtime. Juicy into the middle. Oxygen's covered it well. They knew that the only really option for Juicy there was to go middle. In the aftermath, though, Cash has a free aerial. What's he going to do with it? He goes to the ground, fakes out one. Second challenge connects.
Good quick win again. Moist Esports have controlled the midfield as they have done throughout the series. Although that's a big win for Jorius. Ixo looks to follow. Instead, he's going to settle for just 100 boost. Oh! The wall, and, well, Joyo had more belief than anybody else in the lobby. Happy just to leave it.
Yeah, he was not ready to save that if it was top corner. He was absolutely unprepared. Had that shot been just slightly more to the right. Luckily for Moist, it was destined for the post. Jorius with a demo upfield. He's going to take over here. Great challenge by Juicy. Worst thing you could do there is get faked out. You make sure that that does not happen. Same thing with Joyo afterwards. This is getting a bit dangerous, though, for Moist. They've defended their back corner boost, though. Joyo, a big win there, helping them get out of defense.
Cash just swoops back on in. Boost total starting to run a little bit lower here on the side of Oxygen. They need to do well of that possession. The bump from Jorius gives the space that they need. Cash runs on the far side for Joyo. Can he get it over to him? Not quite. Jorius goes for the power shot. Has he caught them unaware? No, he has not. Cash not. He collects the ball. He resets it. And the pace is starting to ramp up here in this overtime. Ixo, he's got it! We're going to Champions Field!
It's Ixo for Oxygen. What a read. What timing of arrival. He slots a very awkward angle double tap. And of course, we are going to get a Moist timeout. No doubt we are going to settle this in Game 7. If Oxygen can win this, they are in the running for the major. Not just that, keep their tournament alive. What a headache that would be for Moist. They're so close. They're so close, Shogun, but once again, it just seems so far away from them.
It's never going to be easy, is it? It never will be easy. But full credit to the way Oxygen are handling this right now. It never feels like they've been in control of the flow of this series, but they've ridden the wave the entire way, and they've ridden it to Champions Field, where anything can happen now. Also, really, you put the rest of the series and you throw all knowledge of it in the bin.
Moist they have not called a timeout. What is going on today? We had Guild earlier on today.
They're on a 2-loss streak here,
they have not called a timeout.
It's a 1.
I can't understand it. You know, a lot of, if you're wondering what the significance is, why we're so shocked, the win rate for teams after calling a timeout is significantly higher than just a general, win rate from a team who've just gone down 2-1 or 3-1 in a series. It's a clear in a game mode where you don't really have that many stats that correlate to winning very often. This is one of them that does. So yeah, they have not called a timeout. We're just getting straight into the next game. That was just a standard time between games here. We've got all the players loaded into the lobby. I don't know what Moist are thinking about that one, but they must have, they must at least think that their heads are in the right space here.
Of all of the storylines that are going on here, if Moist do win this, then it is Liquid that have clinched Worlds. That is one storyline among many, and not something that I'm sure Moist really care about. They care about coming in here and getting the job done, the job that they looked to be full of control over, and it's slipping away. And for Cash, that's a feeling that's becoming all too normal to him. Needs to change the narrative right now.
Yeah, just not the position that they wanted to be in. They've had their chances earlier on to take this series, have it over and done with. On we go, and Oxygen in that overtime we just saw came to life with their aerial speed. They were dusting Moist and really putting the pressure on them. Moist have to look out for those fast aerials. They've got to look out for those hard clears. Oxygen have started to go a lot more quickly than before. That is a missed aerial by Cash. There weren't enough warning signs for Moist. There's another one. They do still have Oxygen on the back foot, though.
I would not be surprised if I do see Oxygen take this as a little bit of a slower game here. Just test the waters as to what version of Moist they are going to get. For Moist, it looks like they've gone for the full send. They want this to be played at their pace, and their pace is as quick as it comes. Oh, a little bit of an awkward time there for Ixo. Two-time game winner in this series. When they've needed him, he's been in the right spot, and he's done it again off that challenge. What can he create? Demo as well? Joyo just takes control, settles the game down a little bit.
Yeah, very tense opening 2 minutes here. Neither team wanted to make that first mistake. It's definitely a playing to not lose mentality right now. Who will be willing to put it all on the line, make that big play, be the hero? We're in a lobby full of players capable mechanically, capable creatively. Do they have the mental?
Juicy, who has been a star in this series, doesn't quite create the play that he was after. Archie loses the challenge. Ixo has to control, does lose 100 boost, so if he's gonna do this, he's doing this boostless. Still sticks around, however. Incredible belief there from Ixo. Who is now the last one back. Cash looks for the incredible angle, and he did find it. Ixo, the wherewithal to spot that one out and get rid of it.
Unreal save by Ixo. Cash hit that perfectly. And what a read it was. But Ixo with perhaps save of the day. Absolutely outstanding. He scored, like you said, 2 winners in this matchup so far. Now he's saving his team. Oxygen's tournament on the line. Really their major contention on the line. They are fighting with every last breath.
Ixo does need some help. His help's been bumped out of the way. It's so awkward at the moment for Oxygen.
Oh,
so surely, no! Archie yet again. But as good as these saves have been for Oxygen, they can't stay on this side of the field. They've got to get to the blue side.
Yeah, boost is really at a premium right now for Oxygen. They need a clear. There it is. That's going to buy them some time. Still, they can't find the back corner boost. Now it respawns. That's huge. You see immediately they're able to break free. That was absolutely terrifying for quite a long time. Usually when a team's stuck in defense for that long, a goal will follow. The goal was close a couple of times. But here come Oxygen. Archie doubling it slowly into the middle. I think Oxygen wisely do not commit for that one though. How's Cash is shooting? It's again a bit lackluster there.
I think he spent it all on that sidewall. I'll tell you what, if you were going to pick a spot, it's not really the worst one for Cash. It was just some sort of miraculous read that kept this at 0-0. This is still 0-0. Is, well, quite extraordinary, really. Ixo up against Cash. Former teammates, now turn rivals over on Champions Field. For Ixo, this would mean so much because Cash was always the player talked about. After the poor performance of Quadrant at Rotterdam, it was still Cash that came out with a higher stock from that series. He's been the star right now, but his team's up against it, and he's not found the shot. Joyo couldn't barrel through the bodies.
He just didn't believe. He did not believe the bump was connecting. He was right there. The open net was right in front of him. They might still get it though. Joyo with a bump. Oh, it's a huge save again. Jorius bumps Joyo into saving his own shot.
Oh, have they got it? The breakaway again! Instead, we go to overtime because, of course, we go to overtime.
Oh my. This could be it. Low 50. Oh, it goes wide. Jorius with incredible guts there. Just sits on the goal line and waits for the ball to come to him. What a monstrous read.
Juicy's in the midfield, does not go for it. Picking the spot is so important now for both these teams. Moist have had ample of opportunity, but it looks to go against them. The leave. Jorius didn't want to go for it, but his team for the first time are seeing offense. What can Moist do to get rid of this ball? Ixo delayed, and in goes Jorius. Backboard, leaves it. Ixo challenges, doesn't get there in time. Juicy clears.
Perhaps one of the most terrifying overtimes we've seen. We're only 50 seconds in. It feels like I've seen both teams' lives flash before their eyes there again. Jorius with the key touch. Cash was right there for the rebound. End-to-end stuff. Chances for both teams. Clear-cut chances for both teams. Still, no goal.
Double commit. You can see the little moments of panic happening for both squads. Side. Cash. They got a 2v1 here. Ixo's beat, but
goodness.
Nobody's there. Juicy this time was not the believer. Cash passes it to nobody. He's seeing ghosts.
Yeah, Juicy, he didn't want to move in. He was third man by a mile there, so he didn't want to overextend and have a bad 50-50 go past him. Had he been there, again, it would have been open for Moist.
To the side. Archie. With Ixo in support, Cash is almost boost. That was so big for Jorius.
Jorius. Wow, he just got that boost in time, and what a difference it makes. This is awkward. Archie's jumped, misses. Ixo covers him. Both teams, understandably, playing extremely nervously in Game 7. Finally a little breather there, but it's immediately back into Joyo with a double. He's done it! Joyo for Moist! They're top 5 in points by a mile.
Joyo spots nobody backboard, and there's the punish. 1-0, 7 minutes required, 7 games required. Moist Esports move on, and BDS await.